All right, here's my 1969 Dodge A108. It is two-wheel drive. It is the long wheelbase version, the A108 versus the A100. I'll go fisheye so you can see it better. This one came with a inline six, but in the early 70s was converted to V8, so it's got a 318, a 3-speed 727 automatic, 8 3/4 rear end, 14-inch wheels. I got her in outside of Orlando, drove her to Key West, took my wife on a vacation, flew her back direct, and drove it all the way up. And I've had her for 4 years now. We've done a lot of miles. Just actually did a nice long weekend in the Cape. It's got a custom interior that the previous owner did. 90s Dodge Caravan. She has been great. Has not let her down. Got all the windows, so she's kind of rare in that sense. Kind of rare in the long wheelbase. Nice paint, other than some flaws here and there. But she's based on the trucks of the era, but just a full van. This would have been your plumber or electrician's van, that sort of thing, or your church's people transporter, that sort of thing. So only came in two-wheel drive, and obviously there's trucks of the era, so you could convert it using 60s or 70s Mopar stuff or something else, but I'm gonna go a little bit different route. So right now it's 3-speed rear end. I swapped to a 323, so it gets decent highway RPMs. It had a 393, which I still have. And so the plan is, in the early 90s, 92 and 93, you could get a Dodge W150 or a Dodge W250 pickup truck in a variety of lengths, colors, sizes, etc. And it came with a 4-speed overdriven transmission, the a108, with push button lock-up torque converter and push button overdrive. And it was 4x4. If you got the W18, it was a Dana 60 in the rear and a Dana 44 up front. If you got the W250 non-Cummins, or I guess it doesn't matter, it came with a 360 engine and a Dana 60 up front and back. And so right now I've got a lead on a fairly inexpensive W250, runs, drives, ugly, body rust, all that sort of stuff, but the driveline seems to be in great condition. It'd be a farm use truck or whatnot otherwise. And so the plan is to convert her to 4-wheel drive. Why? Well, it's not going to do a serious off-roading, but in our region, if you've got dedicated 4-wheel drive and you get a little permit pass, you can go driving on the beach. And I've got a toddler who's going to absolutely lose his fucking mind when we leave the pavement and start driving around, gently to our beach location. And in my case, we can take the dog and gear and 7 people legally. So should be awesome, should add some value, but at the end of the day, it's just to be able to do some more stuff. The upgrade should also give me a couple other bonuses. So the Dodges of those era would be disc brake up front. This has 4 drums. They work pretty great. They're powerful, but it's 4 non-power assisted drums, so it takes some getting used to. And you don't want to get yourself in a bad situation. The W250 comes with the 360, so technically I could swap the motor as well, but I don't think I'm going to. And the reason for that is, for those of you who don't know, the engine is not up front. It's in between the seats. And so unless you want to bring this thing really high and drop the engine out through the bottom, you've got to take the engine out through the side doors. And that's no fun. I don't have any of the equipment to do that, and asking a shop to do it is asking for trouble. So essentially with this swap, I'll get disc brakes up front, I'll get lock-up overdrive, I'll get Dana 60s front and back, and I'll go from a 323 rear end to 410s, but with overdrive, so I'll still be improving my my RPMs at highway speeds, even though I'm going to have a whole lot more get up and go, you know, at the low end. I don't know if that'll improve my towing ability. Maybe at some point I'll upgrade the frame, you know, do some frame modifications so I could pull a bit more, because I think this thing has a tow rating of like 3,500, which basically means, you know, utility trailer and motorcycles and dumb shit like that, but nothing cool, no boats, or nothing heavy. So that's part one. Thanks for hanging in for the first 5 minutes. I'll do a second video on all the things that I think are going to be problems, and we'll go from there.